So, hey and hello everybody. This is Dina Smith coming to you today with a video on how to take care of you. Putting yourself at the top of your priority list and busting out some killer self-care in order for you to kind of move in the direction of becoming stress-free for 2023. I like it. I like it a lot. So we're going to get started today with 4 of my favorite free self-care tips that you can do today, start today, and get ready and get moving in the direction of relaxation and calm as a single parent. Let's get started. Tip number 1, get organized. I cannot emphasize enough how important being organized as a single parent is for reducing stress, anxiety, and all the other things that go with it. Getting organized improves your overall health and well-being. It saves you money. The National Association of Productivity and Professional Organizers put out a stat that we save so much money by being organized. We typically purchase an item 6 times because we don't know where they're located in our homes. Now, imagine a simple light bulb for $2 turning into a $12 light bulb. You just saved yourself $10 just by getting organized and knowing where that light bulb is. Now, this seems super duper small, but cumulatively over time, if you're consistently buying something that you can just get organized so that you'll know where to put your hand on it, that's money saved. That's stress saved. That's another trip outside the home to Walmart, to Target that you don't need to make. That also exposes you for other impulse purchases to wind down our bank accounts ever so slightly and ever so quickly at Target, right? So I'm not bashing Target. I'm just saying it sucks money out of my wallet. Anyways, you can save yourself time as well by being organized, and your life is going to improve when you feel more productive and know what's coming and what's going, when to be where, by just getting organized. Getting organized around time looks like using your calendar on your phone, using your calendar in the house if you have a big family and everyone needs to kind of coordinate their time together. Getting yourself a command center so that no one's late or everyone knows when to show up where. Something as easy as color coordinating your markers that you write on the dry erase board with helps to get everybody where they need to be. The color never changes, meaning mom is red, Sally is blue, little John is purple. And whenever we need to have an appointment for John, we put 2 p.m. in purple, right? So we know who it corresponds to based on the color. Super simple, but getting organized is my favorite tip for reducing stress, depression, anxiety. All those things can come from being unorganized, right? Step number 2. Free by tuning into me. You're like, what is she talking about? I'm talking about the fact that you can take care of yourself or take better care of yourself by learning to tune in to what your body needs and wants. Tuning in looks like, do I need a nap? Am I hungry? Am I tired? Am I irritated? Right? Some of those things can be influenced by our medical condition. So at the beginning of the year, or whenever it's convenient for you, I like to do it at the beginning of the year. It's a great reminder, fresh start, health condition, etc., etc. We all have resolutions. But even if I decided to do this in July, it would look the same, right? So getting all the information about you so that you can tune into you is a great first step. Stay with me. Going to your primary care physician, going to your OBGYN, setting yourself up a mammogram appointment, going in for your eye exam. You're lining up all the information that allows you to more intuitively tune into what your needs are based on your health condition. Super easy, almost free if you have insurance, depending on what that looks like. But this is an easy gateway into taking better care of yourself for free, basically. If I know that I need to reduce my sugar intake, I'm going to buy less sodas, less sugar laden things at the grocery store. I'm setting myself up for a better life by having an improved health condition. Because as we all know, if you have a poor health condition, that also adds to your stress, right? So really tuning in to yourself by starting out and knowing all the facts about you. And then we can more readily tune into what our needs are based on our health condition, based on our day-to-day. It's easier to tune in when we know what's going on. How is our body reacting to being hungry? A tip that I always suggest is before you get started, feed yourself. I don't do therapy. I don't do coaching. I don't do organizing. I don't do any of those things on an empty stomach. I need my fuel to run this wonderful little car that we're in, right? And you do too. It balances your blood sugar. You're able to be more clear in your thought by not being distracted by hunger or not being distracted by the additional stress that hunger puts on our body. So really tuning in to you and giving yourself what you need is a wonderfully beneficial vantage point to move from so that you can improve your self-care and decrease your stress. So we just talked about taking care of yourself and knowing your numbers. But a really easy way to decrease stress in your life and start to take care of yourself is to move your body. This is one of my top tips to reduce stress in many of my clients who deal with depression and anxiety. A lot of what we need, our body can naturally give us if we let it, right? So exercise, moving your body, it doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be mundane. It doesn't have to be a chore if it's something that you enjoy. I go to a dance class every 2 weeks or so, or as often as I can if there's a specialist in the city that I'm from. But dancing is one of the things that I will get up for readily. If I'm excited about attending a specific person's dance class, I'm going to be there with bells on early. It's something I can do for myself, that I can do for free in my home. I can go for a walk. Moving my body can look like just getting up from my desk and doing some simple stretches. It can look like yoga in the morning. It can look like many, many things that don't have to cost money. There are a ton of yoga on YouTube. Yoga for Adrienne is one of my favorite. I should tag her. She's amazing. I have a niece that comes over who's also a yogi and does personal yoga sessions with me in my home. It's a great time for us to connect and spend time together and get a really great stretch in, right? So it doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be mundane. It doesn't have to be on a strict schedule, but moving your body improves cardiovascular health, boosts your mood, improves your overall stress and anxiety as a preventative measure and a managing measure. That's a whole nother story. It decreases mental fog and improves clarity and all sorts of benefits of moving your body. And it's something that can give you this natural glow, give you a boost of confidence, which we're going to need as parents to make all the decisions and do all the things that we need to do as single parents. So moving your body is a great way to celebrate you, a great way to take care of yourself, and an outstanding way to reduce stress that we incur as just being a parent, right? So this final tip is probably the one that helps us to manage our mental load and carry it in a different way, right? By understanding where to put our time, talent, and gifts or where to spend our time, talent, and gifts. It helps us to kind of unload some of the personal responsibility that we assign for ourselves. This will make sense in this explanation. Just follow me for a second. So I'm going to put this diagram somewhere on the screen around locus of control. So understanding your locus of control says, I'm going to spend my time on the things that I have influence or control around, or both. In the red zone, you'll see this person carrying a big red X. That person is carrying a big red X because that person has no control and no influence over their desired outcome. What impacts their desired outcome? An example of that is, oh my goodness, this is going to be amazing if it doesn't rain tomorrow. You have no control over whether it rains. You have no influence over whether it rains. So your happiness is tied to something that is beyond our control and beyond our influence. You are setting yourself up for failure, right? You're going to be stressed if we're hanging our hat on something that's beyond our influence, right? Moving over to the yellow zone, that's an area where we have no control, but we still do have some influence. An example of that would be, I have influence over the way that my children are raised, but I ultimately have no control over their behavior when they're outside of my care. At school, with their grandparents, with their aunties, they're out there making decisions for their own lives that I don't control. But my morals, values, and way of life have influenced their choices, hopefully, right? So if I'm looking at my level of stress and being worried about an outcome that I don't have any control over, I can let myself off the hook with being so invested emotionally in that outcome that I have no control and no say over. I'm not saying don't care about your kids. Hear me when I say that, because we always care about our kids, but we want the appropriate perspective on lending our level of stress to an area that's outside of our control and within our influence. Moving to the green zone, things that I control, things that I have influence over, I definitely want to be tuned in and giving my energy, advice, giving my time, my talent, my gifts into areas that I control and I also influence. This is an appropriate level. I can assess what the appropriate level of stress I put on myself with regard to things that I do have more control of and I do have influence around. So looking at this green, yellow, red kind of diagram, I can try to stay out of the red zone by not getting involved or concerning myself with or being stressed out about the things that I have no control and no influence over. Yellow zone, a little less, but green zone, I'm definitely tuning into. So let yourself off the hook with really focusing in on those green and yellow categories so that we can, for free, diminish our stress and set some really good boundaries on what I'm going to lend my time, talent, and gifts to. If you thought this was helpful or you have a helpful tip for someone else in managing stress for free, drop them in the comments below. Make sure you come back next week for another video on how to build resiliency as a single mom and move us in the direction of our dreams. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.